It is said that the future is not something we enter, but rather something that we create. What, in your opinion, will the board of the future look like and why? And you have 3 minutes for this. Thank you.
Before I talk about the board of the future, I'd like to talk about the board of the past and the board of the present. You need to read a book of Dr. Martin Alike's book, Ringing the Bell, to give you the experience what the board of the past was like. He stayed on the board for 43 years. He used to travel first class, would be picked up by a Rolls Royce in London. He would borrow money from the bank where he was a director, which you can't do now. The board of the past and the board part of the present, but which is changing, was full of people like me with gray hair. You could not get two ladies on the board, let alone young people. It was really full of professionals, accountants, lawyers, and even if the field was technical, you hardly get technical people there. They all went together in the same golf club. I don't know whether they all supported the same teams. They were all so that was the board. They were definitely, I had one board, the minutes were written even before the board meeting was finished. You went to the board meeting, boom, 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 yes, minutes done, go and have lunch, and lunch with champagne, and so on and so forth. There was one board where actually even the board papers were found in the boardroom, and you read them from there. They took you through. The chair was very good, took you through the board, the papers, and then after the board meeting, you left them there. And of course, there were hard, big books like this and so on. That's the past. The current is a mix, and it is dynamic and it is changing. The future is uncertain. The future is uncertain, but what we've got to do is look from the past and current and what has been happening, the world of VUCA world, as we call it, the world of COVID, where all smart people did not know something, those smart scientists did not know what was going on. But within a very short time, they had found a vaccine. The board where, and I know there are some very powerful people here who have run very powerful boards, because if I mention Agnes, then people will say I'm being very unfair to others. But so the board now, board of the future, is going to be diverse, not only in terms of skills, but in terms of composition. And it is not only gender, it is not only geographical, it's not only age, but it's got really to be very, very diverse. You're going to see more young people, younger than even my young sister here, getting on boards. The boards are going to be digital. You have got to be digital savvy. I'm not saying you're going to be the chief digital officer of the organization, but you've got to be digital savvy. The board packs are not going to be, they will be going to be environmental friendly. The board is going to be looking for those people who bring thought leadership in the boardroom. Those who challenge not because of authority, but because of knowledge. You are going to have those board members who have what we call intellectual curiosity. They are questioning, they are challenging, they are asking. But in order to do that, you must also be the board of the future. The board member of the future has got to keep up to date. Now, the opportunities we have today, and they were talking about young people, what would you tell them? You have great opportunities of learning. I was talking to somebody this morning. If somebody asked you, I was doing a training this morning, and I wanted to know the values of the holding company. And within the minute, somebody had already projected them on the board. You had to go to look for an encyclopedia. If you are at Makerere, I was going to see if you were at university, because for us, there was only one university. If you are at Makerere, you had to go to the library and see if you find space there. But so you have got intellectual curiosity. Strategic courage is another thing. That you've got to be strategic, and you've got to get courage to be able to tell management, to challenge management, and make sure that there is courage about strategy. All these things we're talking about. You've got to be more futuristic, but on the other hand, you've got to really to be trying to know the unknowns and be challenged. So The board of the future is more challenging. It's going to be different from now, both in composition, both in knowledge, ability, and what they can bring to the table. But the values of independence, the values of integrity, the values of dynamics of working together, notwithstanding the virtual meeting, those are not going to remain. But otherwise, it's going to be very, very demanding. And if you've got to get there, and many of you will get there, you need to be prepared for some of these things I've listed down.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Japheth. Thank you, and thank you everyone in the room. And Japheth, I'm sure there's some golfers in the room here who are wondering whether future board meetings are going to be held on the golf course. Is that ever going to happen? Or in the bar?
Future board meetings are going to be held, a number of them virtually. I don't know whether the boards have reached the conclusion now, whether they are going to go back fully to physical meetings, or they are going to have a mix of physical and virtual, or going to go hybrid. Last week, East African Breweries Limited, where I sit on the board and chair the corporate governance committee, we had our first hybrid meeting, hybrid AGM among the listed companies in Kenya. So it was attended by 703 physically, virtually, and then about 1,500 online. So I think what is going to happen, the golf course, no. And by the way, board members are not going to be obtained from the golf course as they used to do, because those who did not go to the golf course didn't get on boards. There is going to be much more wider search of board members, so as to get the mix that I've talked about, the diversity, a very balanced portfolio on the board that you're going to get. But don't stop going to golf and so on, but don't go there for board positions, because you may be very disappointed. Okay?